Hey guys, the Chief Asch here again for our penultimate OctoberQuest review. Today I will be doing a quick little review on a movie that was recommended to me by a friend at school. The movie is The Gate from 1987. Didn't really. All he told me when he recommended said movie was that it was about these kids who accidentally opened a gate to hell in their backyard. That's all I got, and he told me to watch it. Um, it's it's an interesting little flick, right? It's kind of a kid kind of style horror movie. Nobody, it's hard to explain. It's kind of like, and when I was watching it, it has kind of a Goonies vibe, like really hardcore, and it's kind of like a horror movie version of the Goonies, and it's kind of funny because they accidentally open this. There's some of the plot points. They're supposed to be kind of serious, it seems, but they come off as really funny and childish, and it's kind of hard to tell whether or not it was on purpose. It's kind of mush. This was before they really started making a bunch of like horror movies for kids. I mean, they existed, but they weren't super prevalent. So it's kind of its own thing. It has claymation monsters, which the claymation it works as well as claymation could for that time. But the thing is, the one of the things I just absolutely enjoyed about the movie was the smoothness, like how well done the claymation was. Like it didn't seem like it actually belonged in the world very much. But that's kind of claymation for you. That's what they had and that's what they used. But typically when you see it, it's kind of a little, it's kind of jerky because it's claymation's done in a stop motion fashion. But this actually, a lot of, especially the smaller minions, they move very fluidly, and it works very well in that aspect. Plot-wise, when I said sometimes things would come off as childish, and we're not sure if they're supposed to, there's they accidentally, it's the plot of the movie, they're supposed to open this, gate to hell, and it's kind of funny because the kids are like, oh, well, whoops, we accidentally opened this gate, let's seal it, and every time they tell, if they're, somebody older, older sister, mother, dad, whatever, when they bring up, oh yeah, we opened a gate to hell, we need to close it, and it's very much, it sounds like it's a little kid's game, and it's funny because it's, kids in a situation where a kid might open a gate to hell, it's kind of weird because one person would be like, yeah, you feel like they'd be more freaked out, but they're kids, and the degree in which this happened, it could have just been, it could sound like a game because they don't understand the severity of what they've done. The whole idea is that this gate, because it's read out in the movie, like if the gate opens, these demons come through and take over the world, and they're just like, oh yeah, they're gonna come take over the world, and we need to stop them. So we're gonna me and my friend are gonna go out back and try to do some incantations and try to shut this thing, and that's just how it goes. That's the whole thing of it. But it's kind of funny in that it doesn't really have any. It doesn't actually hit scary. It has a neat little plot twist towards the end where you think the movie's done, and there's still like another 10-15 minutes left as it goes on, which was kind of a thing for movies of that time period. But still, I didn't see it coming. I thought it was just gonna end and it was gonna be it. The characters are all right. It's it has pretty good, I don't know, story continuity. It talks about how there's a point where it brings up that the main character's best friend, like his mother died and he started acting weird, and then it comes back, it plays really hardcore into the plot like that. One of the things that bothered me the most, which is funny, the main character is Stephen, I think you pronounce his name as Durf. He's one of the main bad guys in Blade, like the first Blade movie. He's a pretty decent actor, and as a kid, he's a kid actor, whatever. But in this movie, there's part, like, people will die, and you see the movie where people will die, and he's just like, oh, they were a sacrifice, and then he keeps going, and there's no, and I don't even really know if it's that his fault as much as the director, not, because the director could have just been like, yeah, your loved one is dead now, so maybe you're sad, just a thought. But every time someone dies, he's just like, oh, they were a sacrifice to the demons. And except for the first there's a dead dog in this movie. Warning. It's not a spoiler, it's a warning. There's a dead dog. And when dead dog happens, he's kind of like, oh man, like he's kind of sad. He's like, oh shit, my dog's dead. And then he kind of has like this little depressive bout about it afterwards, and he's just always like, yeah, my dog's dead. For like not a lot of the movies, there's like a section where this is a thing, but he kind of at least he has that reflection, you know, he has that like regret that, oh man, my dog's gone forever. And then when people start dying, he's just like, oh man, they died. Oh well, like I better get to this next thing. I better try to do this by myself now. And he just like, oh, they're a sacrifice. Done. No more talking about him. Nothing. That's just it. So the movie has, if for like a kids horror movie, it's kind of, it works. For some of the plot works, some of it doesn't. It teeter-totters between being like a potentially decent movie to like a kind of a bad movie. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. It's one of those I say it's down the middle of the road for me. This is down the road, but it's like slightly off to the bad side. It has good ideas, doesn't capitalize on them well. It has your typical 80s, you know, fogginess to it, and then it has a very much a very kiddie aspect to it, though. If you look at the front cover of the movie, the show poster, it shows like this demon like reaching out of the ground, and it looks very much like an actual horror movie, and I feel like it was marketed to be so, but it is very much like a kiddie sort of thing. Even though there are some creepy parts, there's some parts where, you know, people are getting bit by monsters and things like that, and you're just like, oh man, like that's, you know, that could be potentially creepy. And there's good parts in the movie, so it's definitely something you should check out and think about. You know, just look at, you know, if you need a movie, you know, before Halloween tomorrow, you know, check it out. It's something. It's worth the time. It's just, it's interesting. You know, you gotta be in the right mindset. This is one of those. I say often. You know, put it on in the background when you hang out with your friends. This is one of those movies. If you really look into it, it's one of those. It's like, yeah, this could have been a really good movie, but it wasn't capitalized in such a way that it was effectively done. But anyway, the movie is The Gate from 1987, just called The Gate, year 1987. Another thing I want to point out real quick. Some of the practical effects and CG effects that they try to do don't work very well in the movie, and it's disappointing because they've been done earlier in the 80s by other slasher and horror movies. So, little side note there at the end. I just remembered it. So, anyway, The Gate. Check it out. Don't check it out. Let me know what you think of it. Maybe you saw it as a kid and you had some opinion of it then. Hit me up. It's neat to know how people, you know, look back at movies that they used to like or didn't like or whatever. So, yeah, The Gate. This has been the Chief Asch for our second to last OctoberQuest review, the penultimate showdown. Tune in tomorrow to get we're doing a change in format. This may be one of our last changes in format that we try. This might be the way we landed. Maybe we'll revert back. You need to check it out. It's going to be completely different approach, and I really hope that you guys at least tune in tomorrow to see tomorrow's review. I appreciate all of our viewers, and this has been the Chief Asch, and keep watching.